Hello everyone, my name's Alexis.
And I am Luis Pulido.
I'm Eva Medrano.
I'm Gabriel Cisneros.
And I'm Marifer Toledo.
Alright, well, today we're going to be discussing some thoughts and opinions and ideas that we have on our English class this fall.
One of the first points that we had, it was this article called Shitty First Draft. What I really liked about it was that it gives us a chance to just mess up in our writing. This is where we just throw in our ideas and just expand our thinking.
Yeah, but I mean, because it really helped us guide away that we shouldn't be afraid about doing a bad draft. We just need to roll out with it, and then we can edit it at any time.
Yeah, it helped me feel nice, like at peace. Like when I start writing a draft, I'm like, oh, I don't care.
Yeah, there's
as
no right or
much.
wrong.
Yeah.
I also like that she mentioned like herself and like other authors and how they're never like perfect and they also have to write like us and that they mess up as like us too. So it made us feel better about ourselves, I guess.
I think like what I learned from that article is that there's not really like a right way to write. So I guess that made me feel a little bit more motivated to write. So that way like I'm not just stuck there, because I know it happens to everyone else, like not just like me, you know. So I guess like it made me feel like, oh, okay, like I can do this and stuff like that.
I mean, everybody does mistakes. It doesn't matter. Like, if you mess up on the essay, it doesn't matter. Just continue.
Yeah.
Continue on.
But I don't focus like on other people's mistakes. I focus on my mistakes, and I like stress out about them.
Yeah, if you like find your own mistakes, this gives you the chance to like improve, and like in your writing you can get better at it.
Cause I thought I was like a really bad writer. I still think I'm a bad writer, but because of that, I'm like, oh, I'm actually not as bad as I thought. Like, I'm getting better.
Okay, like a second point, this is another article that the teacher provided, and it was based on code meshing, which is like kind of important to me because my first language was Spanish. So with this, it showed me how I can like code mesh my English and Spanish, which it comes up to the idea like of Spanglish or something like that. I mean, I'm just free to talk however I want. I can mix my both languages, and it makes everything easier to me.
Yeah. From prior to reading the article by Prashant Young, I didn't know what code meshing was. I really didn't know. And then once I read it, and this was a time where I actually got kicked out of the class because I wasn't able to read it prior to the class. But yeah, once I started reading it within the 15 minutes she gave us so we could come back in, I was actually very, very impressed, and as well it gave me the thought of, well, you don't really have to focus on one language or one type of English because there's no proper English.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. It's just something created by the educational system.
I think like after taking this class, like it gave me insight and it changed like my perspective on like how I want to write. Because prior to this class, like I was taught like a certain way to write. I don't know if you guys got taught
Yeah,
that
we were
too.
like that too.
And like this class really taught me like, oh, like it's okay, like you can stray away from like the basic outlines that your teacher provided like in high school and stuff like that. So I guess that's what I mainly learned in this class, and I don't know, like it helped me like improve.
Yeah.
Because like now I'm not just focused, okay, like where's my thesis, or like where's this, or like how am I going to structure it, because there's no really right way to write, you know.
Yeah, it's also like I feel like coming into this class, I thought it was all about writing, and it was like that's like the last part of it of the class that was, and writing, like, not to be mean, but like it sucks. Like I hate writing. Like I feel like I'm such a bad writer as well. So reading, like, what's that guy called?
Prashant Young.
Yeah, reading his article, it's like a whole new perspective on how like proper writing is. Well, not proper writing because there's no proper writing, but like it's just different. You know, like it's okay to like put in Spanish words or to put in slang or all
Do you
that.
guys think that like after this, like you're gonna like change like the way you think, like in other classes, like if you take like another English class, like the way you're gonna like work on your essays and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, like especially this article, like I was always like super stressed out of like, oh my god, how I'm gonna translate my Spanish to English in my head, like so it sounds good in my paper. And like I feel like now there's no right or wrong. Like I can just throw in my ideas and maybe like just put out my thoughts.
I feel like I think there isn't a right or wrong anymore, but I'm not really gonna change my writing until I know the teacher lets me. Since
Yeah.
I'm still in
Yes.
since I'm still in high school, I put Spanish words in my essays too, because my first language is Spanish, but I would always get in trouble for it.
Yeah, it's really
And,
hard
Yeah.
to do that.
So if my teacher allows me, I'm gonna do it for sure.
Yeah.
Makes it easier.
I'm just gonna throw as much slang as I can on my
Slang.
writing. Honestly, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to write as comfortable as I can from now on. That's something I've learned throughout the entire semester. I think that's something I'm gonna try to implement.
Oh, that's true. Like
From-
I learned how to write more comfortably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just like you have a better chance to like express your ideas in a like way that everyone's gonna understand them, or not maybe everyone, but like you're gonna be able to like express everything in a better way.
And the way you
Yes.
explain it too, because I feel like in high school, it's so like structured. Like you have to do everything like a certain way because they're trying to teach you like the right way. But now that like we're in college and it's just a different. You get me? Like it's a different
Yeah.
way of writing. Like it's not like teaching you. It's what you've learned, or like it's just different.
Yeah, I feel like it's better like when you just let your ideas flow, and like it makes it feel like the writer's more like relatable too. Cause like if it's like super well structured, like I get intimidated by stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, ooh, like you know. So,
Or when people use like super hard words that I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, there was an
Yeah.
article. Wasn't there an article
Yeah.
that said like don't use. What did it say? Like don't
Like,
try like
nobody's
to
gonna
use that
talk like
long
that,
word.
yeah.
Yeah, like no one
Yeah.
talks like that. Yeah.
So you shouldn't talk like
I
that.
think it was in the.
It's like-
Shea
Is it the
First
same one?
Drafts. I think it was in the Shea First Drafts when they mentioned that.
I'm not really sure,
don't
but
know.
like it was like in high school, like the teachers were like use your textbook or whatever and get like better like words
Yeah,
because
they
it
always
has to
taught-
sound professional
they
and
always
like
taught us new
and you didn't
words.
even know what the meaning was like from that word. You just had to put it in there and it was like why? Like if I don't understand what it means, why do I have to put it in? Just because the
Yes.
teacher like expects me to write better or more professionally.
Like, this class made writing like a lot easier.
Easier, yeah.
Yes. I mean, one thing in high school that they didn't teach us properly was revising because every time we revised in high school, they always told us revise and edit, and you always had to correct the thing from whatever essay you were assigned, which was something that was right thrown out of the window at the beginning of our first revision. What,
Yeah.
what was your
First draft.
what was you guys' experiences on revising and editing?
Like me, I remember like it was every time when we were doing an essay, guys, you have to revise and edit. And I would do it, but I never knew if I was right or wrong while doing it because I never got a grade or I never got an explanation like, oh, you have to do it like this. No, I remember I would just change words and make them like sound better. Like the teachers would say, like, you know, get better words. And until like I got to this class, that was when we all got the assignment to revise, and everyone was actually off the topic. Like no one knew what that was.
It
Like
was embarrassing.
everyone, it was just like so embarrassing. I thought I had an idea of what it was, but honestly, it was like off. Like my
Me
ideas
too.
were.
I was pretty confident, and then when she started reading them off, like
Yeah.
everything off, the first like 100 things she said were mine, and they were
Oh.
all wrong. So she's like, "This is not how you do it."
were you guys ever taught like in elementary? Because I remember like in elementary, my teachers used to give us like each other's like little paragraphs or whatever we would write, and she would give us like a paper of like editing marks.
The little.
Yeah, like
Oh.
the little
Yeah,
symbols. Did y'all ever go through
Yeah.
that?
Oh no! Like my
It's
thing
so
was I
weird.
didn't get to do that because my elementary years were like in Mexico, so that was a
Okay.
completely different thing. I mean, when I got here, I was like, what is this? Like I didn't know like anything until like I guess now that like they're like, oh, this is the way you write. You're supposed to write in the U.S., but in Mexico, like that was a completely different thing. I don't even remember doing an essay. Like I don't.
Me neither. Like I don't think I wrote in elementary.
Really?
I
used to
really
write
I
a
think I
lot.
didn't.
They
I
used to
never
make
did.
us write, and then they would tell us like, "Oh, pass your papers to like the left or
Well,
whatever."
Oh, yeah.
but
And
I
then we
didn't
had
get
to,
to
like,
that.
we read pens and everything, and then I came in this class, and then everything changed, you know.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, okay, like.
I think it's the
revising
first
shit.
time that like revising actually helps. Like, cause before like it'd be like, okay, write your first draft and then revise it, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't revise it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
because
just
you didn't
yeah.
know what that was.
And like with
Try to
this
fix
one,
the pronunciations. And
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
looking for the periods. Oh, I put a period here, but then I
yeah,
have to put
yeah.
a comma over here.
And then like with
yeah.
this class, like like after like the peer review or whatever, like I actually changed my essay. Like I think that's the first time I've ever actually done that.
It really helped.
I think what
Yes.
really helped also is like the fact that we had to do like a couple drafts. So that way we had to go like we had to forcefully go back and read it and then make it
Yeah.
better for the next one, you know?
True.
Yeah,
In high school,
and like yeah.
like in high school, they always say, sorry, that they always do more than one draft. But I wouldn't. I just like do the first draft and that's
And
it.
that's the essay.
And
Yeah.
like
That's
even
all.
even though you would do like another draft, the teacher like will like in my case like my teacher like she would never give me like feedback on it. She was just like do it, and I would do it, but I never got any feedback. I never knew if I was right or wrong. So it really helped that like the teacher
And then we
gave
had like the private
conferences.
yeah.
Yeah, like I knew what to fix, and she told me what to fix, so that really helped.
I think one thing that I'm gonna start changing, like when it comes to like revising my own essay, is like actually getting help from others.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like I used to be so scared to like ask someone to like read my essay, cause I was just like, oh, like
Embarrassed.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna judge
Embarrassed,
me,
yeah.
so, like, this.
Yeah.
And like after this class, I'm just like, okay, like
Please
read it, like
Read it.
help me, you know? Like,
Yeah, it's really good to get feedback. You really like getting like someone else's opinion. Like you may think that your essay is really good, and then you get someone else that actually like knows or have an idea of what you're writing about, and they just give you a completely different like
Tell you it's trash.
yeah.
Change it.
And that's when you get like, you know, you have to fix it, even though you thought it was right.
I still don't like it,
That's
but
right.
I know it's gonna help me.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to read it, but I'd rather have them read it to help me.
That's the way you're gonna improve. Like it really helps you.
And I mean, it can work the other way around, where you think the essay is terrible, the worst thing you've ever read in your life. Then someone reads it and then they think it's
Kinda
good.
Yeah. That's never
Yeah.
happened to me, but I hope it will. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to go with the right person, because if you go with your like
Your
buddy
friend,
and
yeah.
like, oh yeah, like they're gonna tell you, yeah, it's really good, and like you don't need anything, you don't need to fix anything, but in reality, that's not what you need.
Todo para hacer la relación de amistad mejor.
See.
That's why I like the conferences.
That and that she didn't let us go with our friends. Like she didn't let us go with someone that
Oh,
that
yeah.
we were.
Yeah,
already
that
with.
really helped too, because I mean, well, like not that I talk to everyone in the class, right? But it was like someone that doesn't know you, they're gonna tell you the truth
Yeah.
because they're not afraid of hurting your feelings, I guess. So that really helped too. Well, since writing is a big part of our like lives, because we're always gonna be writing. I mean, it's a really good thing that we're like applying all these things that they're teaching us right now, so we can get experience and continue applying all these things in the future. Like for example, if I get a job, I mean, I want to sound professional, so like I don't know, like I have to turn in a resume. What I have to do, I have to apply everything they've taught me, so like I can get that job. Like if I sound like a high schooler, like I mean, they're probably not gonna hire me. But if I sound like a college student, like if I apply what I'm learning right now, maybe like that will give me a better chance at it.
Yeah.
And writing is just like a big part in like all of school for every class. I haven't had a class where I haven't had to write an essay at the end.
Yeah, even in math class, you can
Yes.
think like, oh, it's math, like it's just
just
numbers.
numbers,
No,
yeah.
I've had classes that were like, okay, so explain how you got this solution, and there goes your writing. You have to apply it in that.
And for sure now, like I could help other people with their writing,
Mhm.
just since from what I learned from this class.
Yeah, I mean, like we can't, like we think that we didn't learn anything in high school, but I think it was a good thing that we did what we did in high school, because we kind of learned those were like our first steps into writing, and then we get here into college, and like this is where like we're actually learning like new stuff, and we're learning what we're gonna use in the future in our careers or in whatever situations we are in.
Yeah, they pretty much gave us a basis on how to write, but now we learned that we don't have to follow that exact formula, because basically the formula they gave us on both the high school, elementary, and middle school,
It's like the
those
same thing.
they're all the same thing, and they're wrong. Like
Yeah.
there's no specific structure on writing. You just need to do what you need to do and do it as well as you can. That's the whole basis of it.
Yeah, we thought that was like that there was a right way to write, and like we get here and we just know that there's no weird like right or wrong in writing, I guess.
I was actually shocked. Like I don't know if y'all remember like the first day of school, like she made us do like she gave us like a little prompt on the board that says something like, oh, like, what do you consider good writing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Something like that. And then like she made like some of us like say our answers, and I was just like, okay, like that makes sense, you know. And then at the end, she was like, yeah, there's actually you guys are all wrong. Like there's no good way. And I was like, what? I was like,
Yeah, like I've been fooled all these years.
I felt so betrayed. I was like, you're kidding. Like
I was like, all this work that I did in high school, it seems like it wasn't needed.
Yep, honestly. But I mean, I guess it's good because like now I can apply that to other classes, so that way like it's not all just, you know, like especially like revising and editing, because like if I hadn't learned that in this class, like
You would be doing it wrong.
I would be doing it way wrong, and like I wouldn't even be doing it at all.
At
Like,
all,
yeah.
like, at all.
And no
But,
one
like,
would tell you it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
like now I realize like how important it is, cause like, I have my bio lab because I'm a bio major, so like, we have to do like lab journals and stuff, so I have to like write in those like discussions and all that stuff.
exactly.
And like I actually went back and like read them, and I was like, holy crap, like no girl, like what are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
So, like I don't know, like I'm applying what I've learned in that class to my other classes to make it better, you know?
Yeah, it's like going back to the math thing that I said. Like in my engineering class, it's like, well, you have to do the lab and it's all math, right? But at the end, you have to like do your conclusion. So it's like if you can't write numbers, like you can't do an essay with numbers, you have to apply your English, and it's like you have to write this whole page explaining how you did your procedure and everything. So writing is everywhere. Even in engineering, that you're supposed it's just numbers. No, it's also writing.
Has it been helping you recently? Like for me, since I'm still in high school, but I'm changing my writing now. I'm like impressing all of my teachers with how I'm doing. So now
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's really
super
good.
cool, and everybody's like, "Whoa, Gabriel." I'm like,
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
You know,
like
yeah.
it's like a whole different thing. Like I'm writing way different than I was just doing in high school. Way different. Well, not way different, but I mean, I'm applying more things to it.
I like it a lot more.
Yeah, me too.
Kind of
Yeah.
fun.
And it also helped the fact that that Ms. Banda made us go to Red X. That helped a lot because we learned how to implement this writing within many more of our careers, because writing is gonna be everywhere. As simple as that. We're gonna see it in every sense of the word, whether that's on feedback from a restaurant or even job applications. We're gonna have to write something. As simple as that.
There was a lady that talked about, I don't know her name, but she talked about when you like get stuck. What did she call it? The blinking. I don't know if you guys went to that one.
Cursor.
The blinking cursor.
or something.
Oh, yeah.
And she like just advises to like take a break. Like it's okay, it happens, and like just take a break, like research or like I don't know, like
And
don't
it-
stress out. Like it's okay, it happens to everyone.
I used to get so like panicked, like when I couldn't write. Like I was just there like sitting, staring at my computer, like how do I start this? Like what the heck, you know?
Yeah.
I had so many nights where I just wanted to like pull my hair out because I'm just like, what do I write? Like how do I write? You know?
If I didn't start writing like in the first like 3 minutes, I wouldn't do it. I'd say I'll do it tomorrow, and then
And
I
you
would
never
never do
happened.
it.
Yeah.
I'll do it last minute.
Same.
What also helped me was that we went to that library presentation and they showed us the
All the how to get
The
sources.
the
Yes.
sources. Yeah, because if
Yeah.
not, then I would have never found anything. Because the library really helped me.
No,
Most of
you-
my essays from there. Like I
Yeah.
found all the sources there.
You know what, like going back to the Red X thing, like what I really liked, it was like they give us like all these presentations, and they were all different people, and like you got to hear like everyone's experiences, or different experiences in English or in writing. It was just like, well, like I learned a lot. Like I remember, I don't know her name, but she gave all this speech on her experience with writing, about how she was sick. But
Oh,
she
I was
never,
there, I was there.
yeah, it was like she was sick and she never gave up. Like you may think that like someone that's sick, like oh my god, like how do you do it? You're sick and you're still like working to get through your education. And she was a writing major, I think.
Yeah.
And she came out of her thing of her sickness, and she's a teacher now. So like that made me think of like, you know, like we sometimes think that we have it hard to like come up with like how do I explain this? Like we think that, oh my god, like I'm going through this situation in my life, and like I'm probably not gonna be able to overcome my obstacles, like,
Yeah.
and it's like you have it so easy, like I don't
Other
know, you
people have
just-
it worse.
Yeah, other people
And
have
like
it worse.
that presentation, it's just like I think her main point was just to like keep going.
Keep
like,
going,
you're-
yeah,
like
yeah.
finish school, like do what you want to do.
Yeah.
because it's possible. Like she went through so much, and look where she's at.
Yeah, like and the other people too. Like I think they were like obviously they were all previous students, right? But it was like this guy that he gave his speech on the different teachers that would judge his writing.
I wasn't there.
Well, like it was just like the what do you call it? The something sauce, the rainbow. I don't know. The rainbow teacher or something like that. It was a teacher that would give him that he wrote this essay, and that teacher actually like gave him feedback on it, and it was like that previous. Well, that teacher like it actually helped him like so he can continue his writing, and then there was a teacher, the lame sauce teacher, something like that. That he wouldn't just give him like feedback on anything, so like that really messed him up, and he thought that he was a bad writer. So like I guess it's always like the situations you're on or the people who surround you that like may affect your
Opinion.
your
on
opinion,
writing.
your education, everything. Like you have a lot of people like affecting your education, so you gotta just keep going.
The REDX presentations like made me feel like more reassured, since one of the ladies, I think her name is like Dr. Harp, she also read like shitty first drafts, and she like referenced it, and I got it, and I was like, I
that's
understand
cool.
it.
I've read
I
that.
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Wasn't
And
she the one that for
That's
the
The
writer's block
cursor,
too?
yeah,
Yeah.
the thinking, whatever.
There was a lot of things we could have like I don't know. I learned a lot of things from Redx.
Some of them were boring.
Some of them were, but they
Yeah.
actually had their little thing there to like learn from.
I liked it. I thought they were good.
There was one guy that talked for like 5 minutes, but like the main point was for us to know our audience, like
To target our
to
audience,
target
yeah.
our audience, and that helped a lot because I think when I was writing the essay, I didn't put that into consideration. Like I was just writing to write, but after like hearing that, I switched it up a bit because the audience it wasn't in there.
Since like you were talking about like audience, I used to write to just my teacher. Like I used to just
Yeah.
oh,
Mhm.
what
Me
my teacher's
too.
gonna do is, or, like, and I would be talking about like something that my teacher probably doesn't even care about, you know. So I'm just speaking of like audiences
Yeah.
and stuff. That changed my perspective because like now I'm just like, okay, who is this for? Like who is reading this, or like who do I want to read this? You know.
Yeah.
So I guess that changed certain things. So now I'm not trying as much to impress just one person, but I want to be more like
Address the
relatable.
topic.
Yeah, like to many people, you know.
Yeah.
So I guess that's another thing that I've learned from this class, and like from all the presentations that we.
From Redx, yeah.
Yeah.
They were really helpful, like, cause you not only learn from like for your life experiences or from their life experiences, but you actually learn like new things to apply into your writing.
There was actually this one guy who made a presentation on RedX about how he just wrote about board games, and he just kept on reading,
Oh,
reading about it.
The research
library
one.
guy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, to
I
do your
actually felt
research.
very motivated after his.
Yeah, he was super into it. He's
Yeah.
like, what? And I don't know what to say, but everybody's screaming. They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
His was like, really interesting and fun. Like he didn't make it boring.
He didn't. He went up again. I don't know. For me,
I think he went twice. that
yeah,
day.
he went twice, but he changed his presentation at the end with the lady with the cursor one.
Oh yeah.
She just, like, made
And he
it
talked
what he
about
want.
like his
Yeah.
family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That. I feel like for most of us in the class, we started with Spanish as our first language, and I never like looked back and thought that's how I started speaking, since because of schools now they don't let me speak Spanish. I had to all like convert into English, so I don't really speak Spanish anymore, but I still kind of write it. So the way she like the project, what is it?
Multimodal.
Multimodal.
Yeah, that it really made me think about. I had a lot more culture into it than I thought.
Yeah. Well, like what it made me realize in this, it was like how did I get to like where I am? Cause like how I mentioned before, like I was in Mexico in my elementary years, and when I got here, like I got the topics about writing, and it was like, how do I start this? How do I do this? Like this is not the way I used to do it back then or over there, and I sat down for a minute, realizing I was like, wow, like I came a long way to like learn English and to be able to write it. It was like all these things that helped me like It was me and my cousin. He sat down with me. He like the first thing I remember like learning was the days of the week. It was like wow, like how did I learn this? Like everything. I mean, it took me a long time because it was like for maybe 5 years I wasn't able to write English properly until now maybe. So it was like a good thing to like sit down and just like think about it like oh my god, like I did so much just to write, where I had to learn so much just to start writing properly.
Yeah, you know, I went to something similar because I remember that I studied for like my kindergarten, elementary, and nearly like the first year of middle school in Matamoros. I didn't write a darn thing, like nothing. Like the only thing I wrote was probably like a little. It wasn't even a writing. It was just like a little drawings about caricaturas. In school, like literally, we didn't.
Everything's like very different over there.
Yeah, I mean, and then once I came in over here in 5th grade, I was like, wait, what?
What is this?
What
Hey?
Like, we're gonna start writing an essay. So I'm like, disculpe, ¿qué es un essay?
¿Qué es un essay?
Explíquenos, por favor. Yeah, I was lost within like the first 2 to 3 weeks, but then once the teacher taught me through it, I was like, oh, okay. And I mean, I didn't have a problem on learning the language either, but because the kindergarten I went to, the only thing we talked in was English, so that was done with the language. But my problem was writing the essays because I did not write a damn thing about it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, like, it's an English essay, so you cannot put any Spanish words, or at least in middle school or high school, they never let me, so it was kind of hard to do it.
But now it
'Cause-
helps you.
Well, yeah, now it does.
Like translating words, like you can't think of the English words, so you're like, oh my god, like how do you say
Yeah.
this? How do you say this?
No, but imagine, like, okay, I didn't know how to write, like, past tense sentences
Okay,
or something like that. It was, like, I was writing horribly, like, it was just the worst thing ever, like, so it's really, like, it's way different when you're, like, when Spanish is your first language or any other language, because, like, you get to the United States and it's, like, you have to learn, like, English in order to write, and writing is everywhere, so that's a big thing, too.
English is a hard language.
Yes.
Oh, somewhat is.
There's a lot of grammar things.
And
to
there's,
it.
like, one word
Spanish is so simple.
with different... Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Over here, you have words that have like 3 or 4 meanings. Like, you don't even know. Like, it's bad.
I mean, English is probably the most nitpicky language in the entirety of the
definitely.
dictionary.
So complicated.
Definitely.
Like, you have to pay attention on every single detail.
Yeah.
Oh, to this day, like, I still don't manage my English well. Like, I have trouble. Even like, well, I don't know if you guys hear my accent. Like, it's bad. And imagine like having to write. I feel like I don't make sense sometimes.
I didn't know you had an accent.
You didn't
I do.
don't
Like,
have
sometimes I
one.
do. Like, I'm just there, like, talking, and then I'm like, oh, pero es que, and then this, I bring in my Spanish, and it's like, some people are like, why are you talking like this? Like, what? ¿Qué estás diciendo? Yeah, code meshing. We go back to code meshing, yeah. It's like everyone starts different, like, in writing. Like, I mean, you have people, like, I guess, people from China, like, how do they do it to write over here? Like, how do they translate everything? I mean, everyone has a different way to writing when you have another culture, obviously, or a different one. I feel like it's way easier for the people that have lived there, like, their whole lives. They have it way easier.
I mean, we basically learned 2 languages in this part of the country. Like at the same time, even if we don't notice, we learned English, Spanish.
Spanish, English.
El Spanglish, señores. El Spanglish.
No, yeah, like the Spanglish.
What am I saying?
Like, you guys, like, I think it's so funny when you hear someone like La Troca, El Parqueadero,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like, we just made another language. Like, what?
We have
Oh my
big
God.
Spanish now, or ghetto Spanish, or cholo
Ghetto.
Spanish.
Cholo Spanish. You
Yeah.
have all these languages that people like make up, but it's because like of the different culture that we have. We just learn differently.
I think I didn't realize that like troca wasn't like an actual name until like a couple years
Yeah.
ago. I was just
Well,
like,
it's not.
"What?
But you know what
Really?"
happened there? It's because you like truck. I mean, they were trying to translate it, but they didn't do it properly. So truck in Spanish sounds like troca, but it's not really like it's camioneta or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's coming.
It's,
It's crazy.
yeah.
But I mean, I guess like I've learned to like embrace like my culture, cause like after the multimodal, I'm just like, okay, like Spanish, you know, like I came from there, like you know, like and then over here, like in all my English class, they're always like, oh, English, like American, English, American, you know, and I'm just like, no, like I'm Mexican, like, you know? Let me embrace my culture, you know? And like now I feel like I can do that better. And like, I don't know, because I feel like they taught us to be like ashamed of like our first language, like
Yes.
Spanish.
Like
and
it was
stuff.
bad. Like we
Yeah,
shouldn't
like
do
you
it.
shouldn't
Avoid
do
it.
that. Like, it was
Avoid
avoid
it,
that,
yeah.
you know?
It was really hard when I was in middle school. When I really like when I got here for the first years, I guess. It was like I couldn't talk in Spanish because they would look at me differently. Like, oh my God, the Mexican girl, the ESL student. Like they would give me
Yes,
titles, and it was
yes,
so hard to
yes,
like deal with that.
yes.
But I mean, I got through it eventually, so I'm happy.
Yeah, that's like a thing in my school where some people call them the Mexican kids.
Yeah.
But everyone there is Mexican.
Exactly.
So,
It's like, oh my God,
It
like I
doesn't
would
make
have to keep
sense.
that,
Yeah.
like I would have to keep that to myself. I was just like in my head, I was like, how are you calling me Mexican if your parents, like
Yeah.
just look at your last name, like everyone's the
It's
same
like
here.
Rodriguez
Like,
Gonzalez,
yeah.
Garcia. Like,
But
oh,
I mean, I
that
had
guy.
to hold it in because I didn't know how to translate it, so I didn't want to say it in Spanish because,
I mean, I was actually in the ESL program as well in the,
Yeah, me
when
too.
I was in middle school. And when I first got here and I told them that I was in the ESL, some of my friends were like, wait, what? I thought you were American. I was like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
Mexico-Americano.
yeah.
Some
happened.
accent.
Just because it, like some people like think like, oh, they see you like you're like white or something, like white complected, and they're like, oh, like
this
you're
guy's
white, like
American.
you
Yeah.
can't be
Yeah.
Mexican because you're white.
Yeah.
El gringo,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like no, like you have to look at everyone's background. Like you don't know like what they, I mean, what their culture is. You just go based like I don't know, like you have to be morenito, like for the people to consider you Mexican. Like no,
They follow a lot of the stereotypes.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot
Like,
of them.
you have to be brown to play soccer or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's too far.
There's white Mexicans. Just
White
saying.
Mexican,
yeah.
yeah, with
Yeah.
green
White Mexican.
eyes or like blue eyes, yeah.
But the project made me notice that like at home, it's all Spanish, like real Spanish, because that's what my parents speak. With my friends, it's the ghetto Spanish.
Yeah,
Right?
and in school it's
The
English.
English.
Yeah.
I meant like the proper English.
No.
Like, since I'm in high school now,
Yeah.
I'm still in high school.
Uh,
So like the project in this class made me realize like I could just speak how I want to speak and it'll still be not wrong.
Yeah, I feel like this projects should be like asked for like at the beginning of every class, like because like I mean you don't know what problems we have to write or what problems we have to like learn, like because sometimes like the teachers are talking and like they say these words that are like super like I don't know like hard to define, I don't know, and it's like wait, what are you saying? And maybe like I get lost in the process of like that teaching topic or something. Like it was really like it's weird when they judge you just based on your looks or how you speak. Like you guys, like right now I was like, oh, I have an accent, and you were like, wait, what? It's like you don't know like any like you don't know what like our lives or like you don't know other people's lives.
We were affected by like culture. Like,
Yeah, I mean we ended up in the same place, but we grew up in some other place like
we all have
Place?
different backgrounds.
other people.
no, like I mean like country. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Country. Sorry. Like even my friends, we went to Matamoros and I met this guy. And obviously Matamoros, you speak Spanish because you're not gonna be able to like communicate with other people. So I was talking my Spanish, and it's okay, I guess. It's really proper. And this guy told me, he's like, if I didn't know you were born over there, I would think you were Mexican. I was like, wait, but I am Mexican. So it's like, what? Like, what do you consider Mexican?
Something that I really like talking about controversial topics or listening. And I like that she brought I like that she brought it into like some of our classes, and I heard like how other people respond or think of a situation, like with the football player kneeling during the anthem, or just like the cop getting shot in his apartment. I don't know.
I
Do
think
you
she did
remember
that for like, I like that she did it so early on in the semester because it like brought us all out like,
Yeah, we saw how other
yeah,
people
like,
thought. Yeah.
and like so we wouldn't be shy throughout like the rest of the semester.
I know some people shocked me because I said something about a life is worth more than I don't know what. That's not super deep, super poetic, right?
But true.
Right?
Oh,
I
mean,
thought a
agree.
life is like the most expensive thing you could ever get, and there were so many people that are like, nah, that's not true.
Yeah.
And I got I told my mom right away. I'm like, Mom, these guys are freaks. I don't know what's wrong with them.
But then that also like brings you back to like how like we were raised like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone has
That's
their
what-
different opinions
yeah.
on things, so.
And I like that. I saw almost everybody's opinion.
I think it opened my eyes, like, oh, okay, like everyone else thinks differently. Like now I'm gonna be more open to other people's like opinions. Like you know, like maybe be more open-minded to like other people and like
Yeah, like no right or wrong. It's
Yeah.
just everyone's
Yeah,
different.
you gotta respect everyone's opinion.
I'm always like down to argue, not argue, but debate.
Debate,
Sorry,
yeah, that's a
my
better
Debate.
word.
But I will like recognize what you're saying, but I will also tell you what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a share of thoughts.
I'm actually happy she brought up the whole Colin Kaepernick thing because it basically made everyone say, okay, what do you think about this? And we pretty much had to bring your opinion about it. Some people were
Like,
damning Kaepernick for kneeling on
how could he
the
do that?
flag and
Like
flag.
disrespectful.
Yeah,
I like
I personally believe that it's fine. I mean, you can pretty much describe how you feel about the
yeah, because he did it
judicial system.
peacefully.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a
So
peaceful
Yeah,
protest.
there
Either
wasn't
way.
really anything wrong with that. I'm sorry, I kept talking over you, but I was looking into your eyes. And I got lost.
Yeah, it's like, don't worry.
Um,
Calm down, Gabriel.
But I really saw how like people would draw. I don't know how to say it, but there's right and wrong and good and bad, where they're similar but they don't go with each other. So
Yeah.
something right could be bad for us, or something good could be right, but it's not always gonna be that way.
I
It
get
could-
you.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
forced us to talk. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure, like some people
Yeah.
are like, oh, like I don't want to say my opinion because like it's like not the norm. But she forced us to talk so that just to get us out there.
So I saw that like some people thought what he did was right, but he did it in a bad way,
Yeah.
and some people
Yeah, yeah,
thought he was wrong and he did it in a bad way. In
I
that
mean,
kind of way.
it depends on everyone's perspective. It all varies on what type of background you came from and what type of education you got.
Yeah, that
That's
matters
basically
a
all.
lot.
Yeah.
That's basically all it varied, and she
Yeah,
wanted,
like,
and she
er-
pretty much wanted to know what we thought.
I just kept talking over you. I'm sorry, man.
It's all okay.
But your ethics and your morality is still connected to your culture. It like ties together.
Everything ties to your culture, even your discipline, the way you behave, the way you talk, everything.
especially in class, because like
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but I was taught like, oh, like don't speak until like you're spoken to, or like, you know, like
Yes.
unless they call on you. But this class, like if the teacher didn't call on me, like I had
You
to
could- yeah.
jump
Yeah.
in, you know. And I was just like, no.
Yeah, I was
can't
really
do
afraid of
that.
that.
And you
No.
can like disagree. Like you're not like because we were raised like I mean I was raised like respect your elders or like respect the people. Like you can't like talk back to them or you can't, you know, like just like that. Like that's just how I was raised. Like I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
like no, I don't agree with you. Like you're wrong. Like I can't say that to anyone. I feel so mean.
I wouldn't even
I
be.
just be like okay.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine.
I wouldn't even want to talk like to the teacher. Like when she was talking, like I had to say something about the topic, and I wouldn't say it because I didn't want to interrupt her. I guess because she was like, "Oh my gosh, she's older, so you gotta respect that. You gotta like wait till she finishes." And then by the time she was finished, I couldn't talk anymore because I had forgotten what I had to say. So,
It really hit like I'm super quiet, or I was more quiet. I wouldn't talk to anyone, but I didn't know how to get into talking. So even though she wants us to talk, I still raise my hand.
yeah.
Even if nobody's talking,
Yeah.
I still raise my hand.
I did that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like right now, like someone's talking over someone, and we're like, oh sorry, like you see who's how your discipline like is. So.
I got excited right now. I kept talking over Luis. Every time you talk.
No, but you said sorry
I-
at the end.
Yeah, like I agree with him though. Like I just want to say yeah. Like, keep going. But I'm cutting you off and you can't keep going.
Nah, it's fine. I mean, that's basically, it's still pretty much, that pretty much showcases the type of background we came from either way. Like,
I
we
have
all
a
think,
chance to talk. Oh my god. Sorry, man. It's only with you. I'm sorry.
it's all good, man. It's all good. No, but in reality, that's basically all we need. All we need just patience and just pretty much let people talk about whatever they need to talk about. And if we don't disagree or we agree, we pretty much have to tell them why.
Yeah,
Not
all
true.
good.
You sometimes make up lies just to feel them make other people feel better.
I'm just trying to agree with you. I'm more comfortable with you since I know you. It sounds,
I mean,
so I'm gonna treat you worse. Basically.
cálmate.
How are you guys like in procrastinating? Because
I
I'm like,
Oh
huge
my
procrastinator.
god, me too.
I've improved.
I think I work better under pressure.
You
I-
think so?
I think that's
Yeah.
all mental. I don't think anybody works better.
I
under
think
pressure.
I do.
No, you know, honestly, yeah.
I do.
This class really helped me organize better, in a way.
That's true.
Yeah, like
It
I
just-
manage my time. Manage my time better.
It's
I
like the
didn't.
first time ever I've ever, like, I'm like, on Friday I'm gonna do this, and then
Oh, that too.
Oh, I get you.
Hmm?
especially with a three-way
Oh,
remix.
Oh,
Remix
the
three-way,
remix
the
three-way.
remix
Oh
three-way.
my god, yeah.
Uh,
That's you have to manage your time because you had to like it was like this time for this for the first part for the 2nd and the third like it was a pretty long project
you have to, like,
and it had everything in it like different topics.
And it made us think.
A lot.
Like
Yes.
the whole, I mean, all
lot.
semester, not just that project, but like it made us. She also liked like creativity and stuff,
Mhm.
so that's good.
I think I like that. Like a
yeah,
lot,
that
'cause-
like, I mean, we're girls. I mean, like no
Yeah.
offense, right? But like, it's just I don't know.
I'm gonna make another confession. When I talked to her for like
Same.
the one-on-one, I think I'm creative as a boy.
I'm sorry.
And I had some ideas for the remix three ways. I didn't do that. I told her about the ideas. I'm like, this is what I want to do. I want to put like draw hands or whatever. She's like, yeah, that's great, that's great. I didn't do it.
No.
Because of your procrastination.
Yeah, I just like
Aye.
waited till the end.
It's because like imagine if we just had one class per semester. I'll be
I'd be the
getting
best,
A's.
yeah, honestly.
Probably not, because like I procrastinate, so I'll probably still be doing everything.
No,
that I before.
honestly, like I think I'll be so good at it because like when I have like enough time for other things, like I make time for this specific thing because it's like oh I have all this time to do other things, so I have to like give it time for this specific thing that I need to do.
Yeah, like I think I already said it, but it's the only time I would schedule.
Yeah.
Right. The only other time I would do it is if I'm going out with friends. I'm like, where are you? Like, come here right now. Stay here. And the other people, I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get the group together. And everybody's like, yeah.
You know, like the remix three ways, I think I was tied up to everything. Like, cause in the essay, like the topic I chose, it was the ESL topic because of my culture. So it ties to your culture. So I mean, I feel like everyone chose whatever they wanted to, or whatever they knew was like, whatever they had been familiarized with. I think. So it was pretty good. I mean,
Meanwhile, I'm over here talking about linguistics and mass communications.
oh, okay. Well, that
There
was
was
your
my-
thing.
That was my thing.
Yeah, that's your fault.
No, but like, I mean, I got the chance to like put in like what I went through. When I put in what I went through, but like I had an idea of what other people were going through in that topic because I went through that. So
Yeah.
Make
And I mean, look,
connections.
that's on me for picking that topic. I mean, it
no, like
was.
my topic was hard because I couldn't put my personal experience. So
Ah, it was-
I had to like find statistics and like all these things.
I think overall the class like just it like changed my whole way of thinking and writing like when it comes to English or when it comes to like your education or whatever. Like it's hang on, I'm dying.
Cut it.
Sorry. No, like it's just she taught it so differently than a normal English class. So yeah.
Overall, I liked the class. Like I enjoyed it because of what I learned and how I could contribute to like my own learning and how I changed my point of view. You know, stuff like that. Like all the presentations we went through really made me like open my eyes a little bit more and just be like, okay, like maybe I could be a good writer. Like maybe, just maybe. You know?
I
And the
think-
readings aren't boring for once.
Some of the.
Hey,
I mean like most of them weren't like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, like I really liked it because there were so many things that I learned. Like I didn't expect to go back and look at my culture. I didn't expect to find new ways of writing. I didn't know I had to like do all these things. Like I didn't even know there was no right or wrong in writing. Like it changed all of my perspectives, and like it was really great to listen to other people and their perspectives. Like I learned a lot, which I didn't think I was going to. I expected the regular or basic English class, or like you have to write, and it had all these things that we could learn from.
yeah, I thought the class was very good, and I liked it a lot, and mainly due to the fact that writing wasn't the main focus, but it was part of the focus.
It was
Like
yeah.
it was all about the way you speak, the way you communicate with others. That was the main focus of the class, and that's something much more surprising than what I expected from my composition class, which is something that I liked and made it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, she really made. I don't want to say she forced us, but she made us learn,
Yes.
because that's how we were gonna pass by like changing what we thought we knew. So I came out like completely changed. I'm a new man.
Me too. It's because it was writing. The main thing was writing. The main thing was writing, but everything else around it. It was everything else around it, like all this.
Like all the readings connected to your writing.
Yeah,
And, like,
it,
the
it was
projects
writing
connected to-
everything.
Everything,
else.
Yeah, we
Yes.
didn't write that much, but everything was about.
About writing.
Everything would help us.
Yeah.
It would help us with the writing.
And that's that.